The darkness continues.
Peace, folk, and welcome back to another edition of the Proper Thought series right here on the old T.P.O.T YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why your black asses are here. Now I'm back with another. And yeah, folk, the darkness does continue. As y'all know, I've been bringing you good folk a lot of court stuff lately, because I think it's pretty interesting, man, and it depicts real life. And today, man, we are in the courtroom of the Honorable Judge Kenneth King, a judge I actually respect. I think he's one of the more fair judges. I've said that many, many times. The Honorable Judge King is a felony exam judge. So when you're standing in front of him, you're charged with something serious. But today, we're going to talk about probable cause. As you can see, the title is Because Probable Cause Can Cause a Case. And usually what happens in Judge King's courtroom is that, before, you're officially charged and ran through the ringer of the criminal justice system with the felony, you come before him and you do, probable cause hearings and preliminary exams and all that kind of stuff. This is all the preliminary stuff to see if the case is going to go farther. But oftentimes what happens is these cases come before him and they have these probable cause hearings. A lot of these cases find themselves dismissed because there's not enough evidence for the case to proceed, meaning the complaining witness who leveled the allegation does not show up for these preliminary exams or these probable cause hearings, because probable cause has to be established in these cases for these cases to move forward. So today we're going to take a look at a couple cases, and you get to see it, decide for yourself, and come to your own conclusions. So, without further delay, let's get at it. And as always, Negroes, fair use. Well, all right. As stated, we are in the courtroom of the Honorable Kenneth King, and we're at some probable cause hearings. And we start with this first one here, and y'all are going to get a glimpse into what this probable cause thing is about and how it can affect you when you find yourself in court, man, especially when it comes to like something domestic. But without further delay, man, let's get at it. And as always, fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Calling case 2260450, people of the state of Michigan versus DeAndre Jordan Little. Defendant is charged in count 1 assault with a dangerous weapon, count 2 felony firearm, count 3 malicious destruction of building less than $200. Defendant has an habitual from the second offense.
Now, this brother is accused of quite a few felonies, right? Now, obviously, he was able to make bond because he's out, right? But he's got quite a few felonies. Some felonies that could probably get him some state time. But I say again, this is a probable cause hearing. And if it never makes it past this stage, you're not looking that bad. But we continue.
Your Honor, shall be granted the People's P number 60219.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jonathan Simon, P35596. On behalf of Mr. Little, who is also present and standing behind me to my right, we are ready to proceed.
Mr. Little, tell me your name for the record.
DeAndre Jordan Little.
There's a date time set for exam. Defense says they're ready. Are people ready?
Sir, I am not ready at this time.
Now you hear the district attorney saying they're not ready at this time. Not looking good for them. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
The complaining witness in this case is a Ms. Ayana Sneed. She was notified of today's hearing. She is not present, and I cannot proceed without her testimony today.
And see, when your lawyer requests a probable cause hearing or a preliminary exam, what happens is the complaining witness, all right, because usually these things take place when, you know, you've done something to somebody, you assaulted somebody, or it's a domestic violence. What happens during these probable cause hearings or these preliminary exams is that complaining witness has to come in and tell the court they have to kind of compound the allegations, right? And then the court makes a determination of whether or not it should proceed. But they cannot do that if they are not there. If y'all can understand what I'm saying, folks, they have to be there to do that. And as a right, as you being accused of a crime, guess what? You have a right for that person to be there, and that person will be getting asked questions by the district attorney. Your attorney has the right to cross-examine this person. It's almost like a mini trial. Almost. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Move to dismiss without prejudice.
So ordered. The court will dismiss this matter without prejudice.
And usually what happens in these cases, if the complaining witness does not show up, your lawyer will go ahead and request that it be dismissed, and the judge has no other option except dismissing it, especially if the district attorney doesn't put up a good reason why he shouldn't. Now, to be honest here, the complaining witness puts the district attorney in a precarious position because they've made this allegation against this person. This person has been arrested. This person is in court. And then when it comes time for the probable cause hearing or the preliminary exam, they don't show up. So now the district attorney is just left pretty much pissing in the wind. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Aaron Dozier.
Yes.
Now, we got another brother. Same thing. He's in there for probable cause, preliminary exam, and we're going to see what happens. We continue.
Case 2156054. People of the state of Michigan versus Aaron Dozier. Defendant is charged with count 1, assault with intent to do great bodily harm, less than murder by strangulation. Count 2, aggravated domestic violence. Appearances for the record, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Shelley Green from the People, P number 60249.
Thank you. Good morning, Judge, and may it please this one solemn report. I'm Mira Maxfield representing Mr. Aaron Dozier, who's standing behind me, and President of the courtroom, Judge.
Aaron Dozier.
There's the date and time set for preliminary examination. Are we ready to proceed?
Your Honor, I am not able to proceed at this time.
You hear that? The district attorney is not able to proceed. Why? Because the quote-unquote complaining witness did not show up for the preliminary exam. See how that works? She comes right up. She's like, hey, I can't proceed because this complaining witness is not here. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
The complaining witness in this case is a Samantha Watts. She was notified of today's hearing. She is not present. I cannot proceed without the testimony.
Court to dismiss without prejudice.
And your lawyer immediately is going to say, hey, Your Honor, I request that this case be dismissed. And the judge doesn't have any other option except dismissing it. You could have done it. You could have done everything that this person alleged you did. But being that they didn't follow through with the legal process, guess what? The case will be dismissed. Because, see, probable cause for the case to continue has to be established. It's your right to have your attorney request this hearing. Because, see, as I've told y'all many times before, Judge King is a felony judge. All right. He doesn't do misdemeanors. When you're in front of Judge King, you're accused of something serious. All right. Assaults, murders, gun charges, shootings. When you're in front of him, you have some serious charges. So, that being the case, these brothers are wise to have their lawyers request these probable cause hearings, these preliminary exams. Because guess what? If the complaining witnesses don't show up, you walk out the door. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
So, or we'll dismiss this matter without prejudice.
Dismissed without prejudice. The judge can't do anything else. Now, the district attorney may have lots of, the allegations may be 5 pages long, but there's nothing she can do about it if the person who is the complaining witness does not show up. But we continue.
And now, and just for the record, I would like to place my P number 76306.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Sir, we just have your attorney
Thank
going
you.
on, and we can take.
All right. Now we come to the coup de grace. Because here's another brother facing felony charges. Domestic, assault, battery, I believe. But the only difference is this guy's probable cause hearing, the person did show up. Yeah, they showed up. But that being said, you'll see that the judge does have some issues with this. But they did show up, though. And we continue. Fair use, Negro. Fair use.
Anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right.
I have nothing, Your Honor.
So, ma'am, when you hit him, explain to me exactly what you was expecting his reaction to be.
Okay, I forgot. Let me bring y'all up to speed. They had already did the probable cause preliminary exam part. The district attorney questioned her. This brother's attorney questioned her, about the incident, about what happened, under what conditions it happened, all that kind of stuff. They got into a fight. She hit him first. He hit her back. I believe he headbutted her or something like that. And I think that's why he's in here. But he's in here on an assault because the claim is after the headbutt, he went outside and he came back in the house and started strangling her. All right. So now y'all know what's going on. We continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Because you have heard that term, for every action there's a reaction, right? So you hit him. What did you think was going to happen after this? So were you surprised when he hit you back or headbutted?
Absolutely, because he never did anything like that.
So he always lets you hit on him?
He walks out every time.
So you walked the bell on those other occasions. This time you put your hands on him because he's never done it before. You didn't expect him to retaliate. Is that right?
No.
Now listen to what the judge, because the judge is questioning her now. The judge is like, well, when you hit him, what did you expect to happen? And she's like, oh, I just expected him to walk away, because he's never did it before. So the judge follows up and says, well, you hit him and you were shocked that he hit you back because you hit him a lot. And what happens is she's like, oh, he usually just walks away. You see? Now, I'm not one for beating up on women, all right? But I'm also not one for letting women just do all kinds of crap to you and you just got to stand there and take it, which it sounds like this brother did, except for this last time. Sounds like to me he finally got tired of her ass and went ahead and hit her back. after going through this probably for I don't know how long, he finally got tired of it and hit her back. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
What you did this time? Did you blame?
I only blame him when he left out the house and came back and choked me. To the point that I could not breathe. That was unnecessary. But defending himself, no, I don't have a problem with that.
Now, that's where the brother messed up. Fine, she hit you, you hit her back, you headbutted her, then you left. Right? Totally justified. She hit you, you hit her back. But according to the allegation, he came back inside the house and then started choking her again after he had already left. That's where I think the problem for him started. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Any questions based on my question?
I have none, Your Honor. None, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. You mixed up.
Push it forward.
Well, full disclosure. This woman, I believe she was up there testifying for a good 20 to 30 minutes. Because like I said, this is what these probable cause preliminary exams are about. If there's a complaining witness, okay, this complaining witness has to come in and say, look, this is what happened, this is what they did, etc., right? Because if not, this case disappears. But this woman showed up, all right? Which probably isn't such good news for the brother you see sitting to your left. Yeah, he probably didn't want her to show up, but she did. We continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Any other witnesses?
No further discussion.
Oh, man, let me ask you one last thing before you leave. You're still on the oath, okay?
Okay, more questioning from the Honorable Judge King.
You said he came back in and he choked you. How long did that ordeal happen? Did he have his hands around your neck?
It had to be more than 2 minutes because from the front door to the house.
You don't know what prompted that?
There at the house.
You don't know what prompted him coming back in?
No, I don't.
You said
I
you
was
was
surprised.
fussing and cussing at him, right? Did you say something to strike a nerve?
I have no idea what I meant to say.
Are
Nothing
you,
more than what I had said already in the house.
are you motivated to be here because he does have, in fact, have your children and keeping you from
No,
your
we
children?
have a mediation Tuesday on the 10th. That's more important right now than that.
Are you going to bring this up in your mediation?
Of course she is. But we continue.
Absolutely.
And you're going to do that because you're trying to get your children back.
Because I want my kids back and I want us to have a system where that type of thing won't happen anymore.
So
Where they'll know when that he get his kids, they can maybe even that app.
fair to say that
Watch our
that's
text.
fair to say that's the main reason that you're here today, right?
No. My main reason for being here today is because no man should ever put their hands on a woman, ever.
But you think as a woman it's okay?
Now you heard what she said, right? No man should ever put his hands on a woman, ever. Now this is a woman who just admitted on the stand that she hits on him all the time. Yeah, it's all right, for me to beat up on him and slap on him and punch him and do all of this, but he should never, ever put his hands on me. And see, I think that type of thinking has died. All right? This whole, woman punch you and kick you and slap you and do all this nonsense to you. You're just supposed to turn around and walk away. Brothers don't believe that anymore. So you ladies, you need to start keeping your damn hands to yourself. All right? Start keeping your damn hands to yourself, because chances are you can't beat this man. You can't beat him. Keep your damn hands to yourself. One thing saying a whole bunch of mess, but once you start throwing hands, Don't think you can just throw hands with impunity and think all brothers are going to follow the "a man shouldn't put his hand on a woman" rule. Your ass might be in for a surprise. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
And I have 3 sons, and I will teach my sons if they're attacking you, you leave. Each and every son I have.
But aren't you just as wrong for putting your hands on him?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But he's just as wrong for leaving his wife with 3 children.
Now, what does that have to do with the fight? The judge asked her, aren't you just as wrong for putting your hands on him? Yes, absolutely. But he's just as wrong for leaving me. How the hell did that leap to that? Oh, black holes, boy, I tell you. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
He's just as wrong.
I don't know the circumstances.
Yes, nobody knows
behind that.
But yeah, we all have our issues.
Future reference. Understand, when you put your hands on somebody, expect for them to retaliate.
There you go. All right. Even the judge is saying, look, you put your hands on somebody, don't think you just gonna put your hands on them and have the foreknowledge of knowing that they're not gonna do anything in kind. That's not how it works, lady. But we continue.
Okay. I don't ever plan on being in this type of situation.
Doesn't give you the right to put your hands on someone.
Exactly. Just because you're a woman does not give you the right to put your hands on somebody. And that's where I think women go wrong. Oh, I'm a woman, so I can punch you in your damn face and you can't do nothing. I'm allowed to hit you. I'm allowed to beat on you and kick you and stab you and do all this kind of foolishness, and you just supposed to walk away. She found out the hard way that the brother doesn't believe that anymore. Does he? But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Expect nothing to happen.
I agree. I didn't think I was going to get choked out. But yeah, you're right.
I appreciate that.
You're absolutely right. I agree.
All right, thank you.
And my father, sorry, he just passed away. He actually advocated and taught me that and was mad at me for this incident. He told me not to lock this man up. My father told me he can't do anything for my children if he's in prison. And I still showed up today when my father is dead. And he knows that. My father died on my son's first birthday, and he has still chosen to keep the kids from me. Why is he so mad at me is the question. I didn't leave him. He left me.
I didn't leave him. He left me. She's still bitter over that, man. And he ended up with custody of the kids. And she bitter over that. And I'm pretty sure, boy, her story was quite embellished as she told it. I'm pretty sure. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Yes, ma'am. You're all set. Thank you.
All right. The lawyers are going to make their pitch now that she's done testifying. She was the complaining witness. And like I said, a lot of it I cut out because I didn't want to bore y'all with all that stuff. But, she basically got up there and said, well, we was scrapping. She admitted to hitting him and he, headbutted her. He walked out the house. He came back in and he choked her, which got him here. So basically that's what happened. Sort of like a little mini trial because that's what a preliminary examination pretty much is, right? But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
I would ask for a bind over, and the reason, and I think we all get a picture of what happened today. I think that the complainant was very honest in what happened from beginning to end. So I'm asking for a bind over because of the fact that, yes, when someone gets hit, they can expect rape to the other person to defend themselves. However, the testimony was that Mr. Simpson left the house, chose to come back. She would have left and not come back and not, we wouldn't be here today. But the testimony is he came back in the house and then he committed an assault with strangulation. She said,
See, that's what's gonna hurt him. Fine, she hit you, you hit her back. I don't even think the judge has a problem with that at all. He's not one of them simp judges who say, oh, a woman can do anything. You know, the black woman is God, she's a queen. No, he's not that kind of judge. He don't have a problem with you hitting her back after she hit you. I think what happened after that is gonna hurt though. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
over and over, she couldn't breathe. This wasn't just a self-defense thing. He had her from the hallway all the way down on the couch. That was over and above any kind of self-defense or hitting back. That's why I'm asking for the bind.
And I object to the bind over, Your Honor. I think the court is free to feel that, they can look at credibility, people be Anderson. And with that,
You find this witness was not credible?
I find that she has a lot of motivations for saying, things that she said. So you can look at her credibility. You can find that she said a lot of things because she wanted her children back.
And I agree. I think that a lot of this stuff that she said, because I did watch the preliminary exam, a lot of the stuff she said is motivated by the fact that he has custody of the children. I think that's part of it. I mean, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there, but I mean, the fact that he has custody of the children does bother this woman. And I think she'll do anything to kind of, throw a monkey wrench in that whole process. Because obviously, if he has custody of the children, and we know this, brothers, if he has custody of the children, she probably screwed up quite a bit for that to happen. But of course, she doesn't think that, does she? And she probably wants him back. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Feel that she said a lot of things because of the divorce and the leaving that she feels that my client is doing to her and her children and stuff, and not being there for him. She said that over and over again, and I think that the court can look at as being her motivation and her reasons for not telling the truth.
And I agree with his attorney. Because notice, even at the end when the judge was questioning her, when she left out of there, she had to throw in, she had to interject, oh, it's wrong for him to leave his wife. Oh, he left me. She leaped right to that when the judge asked her about hitting him. She leaped right to that. Oh, it's wrong for you to leave your wife. This woman is bitter. She's hurt. And I think that has a lot to do with why she showed up here today. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
And with that, I ask that the court not bind over on assault with intent or strangulation.
But to the contrary, I found that the witness was very credible, even to her detriment. I think she was credible. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's what you didn't say. It's what she did, in fact, say. She did say admitted to hitting the defendant that she had no right to do whatsoever. And I have not much of an issue with his initial reaction, which was hitting her back, headbutting her.
Now, the judge don't care about that. She hit you, you headbutted her. I don't even have a problem with that. Because she shouldn't have put her damn hands on you, is what the judge is saying. Like, hey, she swung at you, you hit her back. Hey, it is what it is. She brought it on herself. But we continue.
It was as a reaction to being struck by her. Then she says, and she's adamant about that he left went to the porch and came back in and choked her out or strangled her onto the couch. Now we have a problem.
See, that's the part that the judge doesn't like. The fact that you came back after that. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
You also have an issue with the complaining witness says that she hits the defendant all the time and normally just walks away. But for whatever reason, this time it sounds like he lost control, he snapped, so to speak. And in doing so, the choking out, or the choking takes things to a different level. Particularly if he had an opportunity to leave, he could have kept walking, he could have kept putting one foot in front of another, but he came back allegedly. And that's when he strangled. If this was in the midst of a fight, mutual combat, and we would have a different situation.
He said if it was mutual combat, have a different situation. Yeah, because, you know, like I always say, man, I mean, Judge King, man, he's pretty fair. I mean, she hit you, you hit her back. I don't give a damn. But we continue.
But because she testified, and I believe her when she said that Love had an opportunity to leave, came back and choked her.
And look at the brother. He know it's not looking good. You see him with his head in his hand. You know it's not looking good. He can see it coming. But we continue.
And that's where the charge of assault, potential great bodily harm, less than murder, or by strangulation becomes a question of fact to be determined by a trier of fact. I believe that the strong motivation for her being here is this custody issue with her.
Look at the brother standing up. Because he probably think they about to slap the cuffs on. But this is just a preliminary exam. All right. Now, more evidence has been gathered, but he's not closer to guilt yet. Because you see the brother stood up like, oh, God, all right. They about to slap the cuffs on. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Her kids. That doesn't mean that what she says happened didn't happen. It's just motivation for her following through on these charges that she's advised. So the court, after hearing the testimony of Tanae Jackson, is satisfied that people met their burden of probable cause as it relates to the charges contained in the complaint warrant. The court finds those charges were committed in the city of Detroit. The court finds probable cause to believe this has been committed. Defendant will be bound over to Wayne County Third Circuit Court Criminal Division for proceedings. His arraignment on the information date and time will be January 20th, 2020 at 9:00 a.m. The bond will be continued.
Now his bond will be continued. So he gonna walk out of there. They're not gonna slap the cuffs on him. But the case will move forward. Now remember, folks, this is about probable cause. Now I showed you two cases before this. Same type of situation, domestic violence, assault, battery, at the felony level. Those brothers came in there with their attorneys, ready to do what this brother did. The only difference is their complaining witnesses did not show up. Therefore, the charges got dismissed. And likewise with this brother, he came in there with his attorney. Now, if this woman hadn't have showed up, his case probably would have gotten dismissed too. But she showed up. She showed up. She got up there. She testified. Now, how much she told the truth and how much she lied, only she knows. But just the mere fact that she was there didn't look good for him. Because even though she admitted to starting this fight, the judge still let the case proceed, and he will be bound over and face these charges. But I will say this, as far as the brother is concerned, if he hadn't came back into the house and choked the woman after he had hit her, I believe Judge King probably would have dismissed this too. Because he didn't have a problem with him hitting her back. He didn't. He even told her, just because you're a woman, don't mean you got the right to put your hands on somebody. And when you put your hands on somebody, expect them to put their hands on you back. So if the brother hadn't went back in there and strangled her, he probably would have got off this. But she got up there and testified about how he choked her out afterwards. Therefore, probable cause for this case to proceed forward. I mean, brothers, you got to understand this, man. I mean, when you're dealing with women, you got to kind of see down the road. Because I'm pretty sure in the heat of the moment when all this was going on, he wasn't thinking about any of this. He wasn't thinking about the police going to be called and he was going to get arrested and up in court and probable cause hearings and all that kind of stuff. But what if he did? What if he did though? When she hit him, he hit her back. He left out the house and just didn't come back. She'd have called the police. They'd have had this hearing. She would have had to admit she hit him. He hit her back. He would have walked out of here today. But he had to return. And I get it, man. I mean, women can get on your damn nerve. Yeah. They get on your nerve. But the coming back is what hung this brother up. And that's why his fate was different from the other two brothers you saw. Sometimes, man, you got to exercise a little self-control, man. Even when you're mad, even at adverse times. Because that's when self-control matters the most, right? Self-control don't matter all that much when you're in a good mood. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. But it does matter when you're upset. It does matter when you're mad. Because lack of self-control might just land your black ass here at a probable cause hearing. Because probable cause can cause a case. Negroes. But that's all. I want to thank you good folk, man, for coming through for another one, man. I mean, you could have spent your time anywhere, man. You decided to spend it here with T.P.O.T, and it is appreciated. I don't take you good folks lightly, man. I never have and I never will. You got my word on that. So, with that, I will leave you good folk with 3 words. You know, like I always do. Open your mind. Peace, folk. X with another.
The darkness continues.
Only from T.P.O.T Media. Open your minds.